Thank you, students. Well, thanks, students, for being here today. We have a great event tonight that we are excited to offer. We have Ellery Rojas here from Wix.com, and she's going to be talking about tips for e-portfolios. We hope that this will be really helpful for you because I'm sure you know, or if not, should know that you are required to do a portfolio at some point before you graduate. It's usually part of the School of Comm internship process. If we have other folks on here too who are outside the School of Comm, welcome and may not be required. Glad you're here to learn more about how to brand yourself and how to have a great online presence with a portfolio. Ellery is going to share some tips, and she also has premium code that's going to share with you all as well to be able to use some of the Wix premium features. But yeah, we're really excited to have her here today. And again, thank you everyone for being here. Also, sorry, I should have introduced my name. I'm Allison. For those who don't know me, Allison Doherty. I work in our SPDC Career Center, specifically with the School of Comm students. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me after this or always stop by our office. We have full walk-in hours and you can make appointments with us. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Ellery. And thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you to all the Elon University students. As she mentioned, my name is Ellery Rojas, and we'll be covering a little bit of why exactly you need an online presence, what is Wix, how to plan, design, and manage your site. As we get in there, I do see a very first question already. We will be recording this so that you can review it on your own. It is a lot to digest. So I will also send the PDF so that you can go along with it on your own as well once this session is over with. And if you have questions, we do have a support Wix site. And if you have any other questions, you can ask Allison and she'll direct them over to me. But please feel free to type in your questions. I'd love to know what majors and what year are in here. So feel free to add that in the chat. It will give me an idea of how to kind of navigate the ePortfolio demo portion so I can see what the needs are and the pockets of majors that are included. So feel free to type in the chat. Let me know what your major is, what year you are, and what you're looking to accomplish from your portfolio. So thank you so much for the incoming messages. So again, we'll be touching up on a few of these items. And I want to start out by asking a question to all of you. Why do you think you need a website? And in this case, we're going to use it as a portfolio, but why do you think it's important? I'd love to know. So feel free to unmute or type in the chat. Good, Robert. To expand your reach. Absolutely. When you have a website, you're no longer beholden to your zip code. You are officially international, right? Okay, we have a lot of comm majors, cinema and television, marketing, media and analytics, journalism. I love it. A nice plethora of students. Music theater major. Definitely want to be able to showcase yourself, Taylor, for your area. And wow, we even have freshmen. This is great. All years, all areas. So just to express that we are not limited to majors. This is good for anyone. So being able to add context to your skills and interests, that's right, Sophia. And being able to display projects instead of just writing about them in resumes. Sydney, that you hit the nail on the head, right? You're able to visually show someone your accomplishments, your projects, rather than reading it on paper. Exactly. Presenting yourself digitally, yes. And most importantly, owning your own online content. This is important because we live in a social media world. You don't want to have someone Google you and what they end up finding is like what you were doing and partying during spring break. We want none of that. We want to be able to own our content, brand ourselves, and tell our own story and showcase the work that we want to showcase to employers or clients or customers. Just depends on what you want to do, right? So if you haven't Googled yourself, I definitely recommend it. See what's out there, start removing things from online, but also be able to navigate having this specific portfolio that will showcase you and brand yourself and be able to have others contact you for work. have a place to consolidate all of your social media, right? Or maybe it's going to become your central hub, and being able to have that competitive advantage to set yourself apart from maybe someone who doesn't have it. So quick tip, recruiters, if you're looking for a job or an internship, super important to note, a recruiter will take 6 seconds at your resume. That's how long it takes for them to look at it. And if you are showcasing a portfolio to them, it takes them about 3 minutes to browse. So a huge difference in the amount of time that's taken when they look at an e-portfolio or a website compared to just a typical resume. So Wix, if you haven't heard of us, I'd love to know from all of you, have you heard of Wix? Have you built a site before? Have you never heard of us? I'd love to know what the level of Wix knowledge is in the room. I see 1 thumbs up. Yes. Ooh, someone's made 6 sites before, right? That's awesome. So you can make as many free sites as you want. It is a freemium model that we have, which means you can make sites for free. The only difference is that you're going to be given a URL that has wixsite.com in it, and it'll have your email handle rather than your own domain, but we'll touch upon that. We are one of the largest website building platforms out there. So Coral mentioned that she's seen advertisements. You should see us pretty much everywhere at this point. We've been around for several years now, and we have in-house designers that create templates for you. So you never have to really worry about coding or making a template and things like that. You can just choose one that you like. And what I'll be doing now is just kind of going through one example of a page that a student made, Ivy Chen. She's a fashion designer and illustrator. And in her page, she's showcasing her work automatically. So if you're using this definitely as an e-portfolio to showcase your work, you want to jump into that at the very beginning, because you don't want a recruiter to kind of search and navigate your page. As we go through her page, I'm scrolling through it. I want you to kind of pay attention to the different effects that she's done with strips, which I'll touch upon. She is showcasing her illustrations and her work that she's done for some clothing line, and she's bringing it to life with her sketches. So with this strips navigation and background effect, you're able to just kind of go through all the different looks of her page. She's also created a menu button on the left-hand side rather than your typical top right-hand corner. So you can get as creative as you like. She's chosen to go with bold colors, right? So she went with a nice clean white and pink background that made it very clean and unique and crisp. And then she went straight into a nice bold color when it comes to her menu. As you click through her menu, you can see different items of her work. As you hover over, you can also see 2 different images that she included to create some sort of effect. And when you go to her About page section, it takes you all the way to the bottom of the page, talking a little bit about herself, what she's interested in, and most importantly, an email. Recruiters love to be able to contact you immediately and quickly, and the best way to do that is through an email. We'll go through some examples where you'll notice that maybe there's a form that you fill out. Not super friendly for a recruiter, but really good for any other kind of customer or client that you're trying to attract. So here, I'm going to start talking about how to start planning your site. I'd love to see, I don't know, with a show of hands, with Zoom, or through chat, how many of you have created any portfolio, or how many of you haven't. I'd love to get a feel of the room. So you can say yes, you can say no. I see 1 thumbs up, 2 thumbs up, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now the screen is lighting up. 7, 8. All right, so I would say maybe about half of the room, right? Or more, maybe like 35% of the room has. But if you have, this is still good for you to just kind of digest and think about if you want to kind of touch on it. And if you haven't, this is going to be a great way for you to give yourself methods and goals to reach to start the process. Number 1 goal is defining your goal. What is the purpose of your ePortfolio? Who's your audience? What are you trying to do? Who are you trying to attract, and what do you want that person to do when they're on your site? Being able to gather all of your content. This is really important because I'm just going to refresh this page. When you're gathering your content, you want to make sure that once you get started on the creation process, you don't get stuck on having to, take long because you have everything in different folders and in different files. You want to be able to just have everything accessible and available. For those of you that have created your pages already, this is definitely something that you notice when you started creating your page. It was pretty difficult to finish something if you didn't have access to it, right? If you didn't have the file, if you didn't have your about me, if your resume needed tweaking, or if it needed any work, that was definitely something that held you back. So if you have something that you want to showcase and you have all of those projects or those images, you want to have it all in one place. And then third, once you have all that content, how do you organize it on a web page, right? So here we have a really nice site map that's laid out for you, and it includes several things. So you have maybe a page that is your about me page, like we saw in the example. Maybe you want to have your sub page included here that has your resume. Maybe you have a projects page. Maybe you want to give each project a category. You can create these sub pages that live within this specific button, and that when your visitors come, they can see a nice variety of different topics, right? And then we also have a contact page. So these three buttons are the ones that we definitely recommend when you're starting out with your portfolio. And last but not least, just being able to find your style. You'll be able to do that by choosing a template, right? Or changing a color, or changing the background, or a font. So something that'll definitely showcase a little bit of your personality. We're going to be able to look at a few examples as we go through this. But in the meantime, one last thing I want you to consider about your website is making sure there's a clear message, a nice CTA or a call to action button. A call to action button could be many things. When you're visiting a site and you want to shop, it'll say a button that says shop now, add to cart, buy now, or maybe if you go to a different kind of site, download me, contact me. These are call to action buttons that you definitely want to have for your ePortfolio for your visitor. Quality content, making sure that your items are not blurry, that they all seem very similar in context when you're adding them into your web page, and most importantly, having a nice and great design. And again, you don't have to be a design major. You don't have to learn how to code. You don't have to learn how to do any of that, because Wix provides you with a plethora of templates that you can choose from. So in this first example, I wanted to give kind of a little bit of a variety of majors and examples. Here we have Miriam. She is an assistant professor. She's a student in a university in Montreal. And when we click on her page, we're able to see automatically that maybe it definitely has to do with education. She chose a background that is math problems. I don't like math, but for the person that's going to be going on her page intentionally, she added it in there, right? So you already know it's got an academic feel. She chose to go straight into her information about her, like what she is researching, what she likes, her intention is, what she wants to do. And her call to action button for her visitor is specifically for work, right? So someone that maybe is going to be hiring her, and you're able to download her CV or her resume right away. Then she adds a few sliders about different talks that she has been in for this year. You know, she's going to be on different panels, so she's including a little bit about that. And then she uses a blog feature to showcase certain either projects or coding or different personal little articles that she's written. And you're also able to see that she has a plethora of different views, okay? So as we navigate up on the top of her page, You're able to click on the different sections. She's chosen her About Me page to include her education, a nice written out resume, along with links that include different articles about her, as well as different conferences that she's been a part of and different talks, okay? You're able to really see exactly what she wants to showcase, which is her work. She has publications, again, different conference proceedings that she's a part of, as well as any kind of data and papers that she's written. She's included it. She has a nice contact me page. She has her email included, her office details, along with a form that you can fill out. And her page, she included it to have a blog, which is something I can show you. And it's a great way to showcase either projects, articles, work, more images, or just different types of topics that you want to add. So that's one example. Here we have one that's not so academic. This is Rebecca Gladstone, and she's a UX UI designer. Her portfolio is all about showcasing her projects, right? She goes straight into talking a little bit about her and her intention, the things that she's done. She's including that she's from New York, so maybe she's looking for opportunities in New York. And now as you scroll through her page, you're able to see these nice clean movements. These are things that you can add with her work, with images, with video, as you click through her projects. Again, nice movement of her page, the role that she had within the project with some nice sliders of video and different images and more of a description of the kind of work that she did with these nonprofits. You can click next to go to her different kinds of works and see the plethora of items that she has in here. And notice that she has 3 specific tabs, nice and simple. Whoever her visitor is intentionally looking for work to hire her, everything is nice and ready to go and front and center. There's not a lot of searching that they have to do. Her About Me includes her own headshot that she has in a fun way, a nice description of herself and her intention with her socials and a nice form, and always an email, right? Any questions so far? I'd love to hear any questions that you might have or anything that you'd like me to demo for those of you that have a site or for those of you that are thinking about starting an e-portfolio. Feel free to type it in the chat or unmute. Oh, Emma, we have a question?
Yes, I do have a question. It's just about adding video to your portfolio. I added my video to my website, but I was wondering if you can add it to like a mobile device too.
When you say mobile, you mean having your web page show the video when you're in mobile view?
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. So I can definitely show you that. And Anna's talking a little bit about, could you demo how you do the moving strips on the website? Yes, I can. Strips is a great way to add division. Here you actually see a great example of it with Jung. He is also into design. He's talking a little bit about himself. Can you all give me about 3 adjectives on what his intention is through his site or things that stand out as I scroll through? Playful, absolutely. So it doesn't have to be, super boring. It could be exciting, something different, right? Showcasing the work. A nice little grid here of items, combination of video. Anything else that stands out? Energetic, absolutely. Color consistency, that's right, Sophia. There's a nice colorful theme here. I mean, highlighter yellow is a tough color to coordinate with. So the fact that he was able to add it in here in a fun, dynamic way, he's even included like hover over each item and see my creativity kit. Like this is someone who's put some time into it, added some fun features. Students always ask me, oh, do I need to have my own headshot? You can choose to, you don't have to. He did it fun with this hover effect that you can choose to do so as well. He added 2 different images, one a video, one an image of himself, and then again with his intention of what he's looking to do and how you can contact him. His call to action button features an email. So anyone who's looking to write to him, it's going to be straight into an email. And he's also added a 3rd page that includes his cover letter, right? So his CV, I'm sorry, his resume. So super important, very clean, very crisp, adds a strip of video to have a little bit of fun, and also includes a nice fun option here, an element with an international hello, right? So just showing a nice dynamic way of his personality. So someone might want to work with. Carrie asked, is there a way to have one word of source text change? I am this word, would animate and go through a series of text before starting over. Yes, we can definitely, I'll link get here my support page just so that I can have it up for you and you can go through that. I'll add it here in the chat. So any questions like this, I love how she had this specific question and the one about the video and the one about strips. If we don't get through it, you can definitely include that here in the support Wix.com site, and they'll be able to respond to you 24/7, right? Every one of these questions have been asked before, and so Wix has the support site that will populate how to do these steps, okay? So I'll jump into a few of these and let's get started on designing your website. Essentially, you have to go to wix.com. It's going to ask you to log in or create an account. Keep in mind that you definitely want to use an email that is appropriate. For those of you that have quirky emails, you want to make sure that it is something that's nice and clean and not R-rated, as your free website will include your email domain, okay? So as you go through it, you'll be asked a series of questions. These are the questions that'll populate. You can start answering these questions. Essentially what it's for is to get started on populating a few templates for you. Here it's asking you about apps, and then it's asking, hey, do you want to use Wix ADI, which is Artificial Design Intelligence? I don't recommend this one. This is really more for advanced users. This is going to ask you a series of more questions, and then it'll populate a template for you. I recommend, especially when you're starting out, use your website editor, the classic editor on Wix, which is on the right-hand side. This really allows you to have much more customization to your site and be able to choose a plethora of templates that maybe call your attention, okay? So now that we click that, it gives me the templates homepage. You can scroll through here. As you notice, you'll have an edit button and a view button. The view button really gives you an ability to preview what kind of template you're interested in. Notice here as I navigate through the options, there's several categories that you can choose from, okay? This isn't to say that you can't choose one that isn't in your industry. You can choose any one of these templates and you just end up making it your own, okay? So feel free to go through these, take a look at them. You can also go into the search button here on the top right-hand corner. For me today, what I'll do is just go into creative and choose personal. I want to make sure I choose a template today that will allow me to pull from the options, like a video. I don't want a template that already has a video because I want to show you how you can get it. That isn't to say that you don't end up choosing a template that has everything. You can definitely do that and edit it. So I'm just pulling this specific template so that I can showcase a few of the varied things that you can do. So as you can see, Wix has populated the template and all of its different dynamic tools and site pages. And now we're on our canvas. So if you don't have any other questions, or if you do, feel free to type it in as I go through. Here you'll notice that all of this on your left-hand side is all the different buttons that you can choose to add features to your page. Your plus sign is going to have a lot of the items that you might have asked for already. So if you want to include a strip, if you want to add more text, different types of categories of text, if you want to include images that you've uploaded here, more importantly, I want to showcase how you can go to My Image Uploads. Wix Media will populate, and you'll notice that I talked about your second set of goals, right? Your step, gathering all your content. The first thing you want to do is go in here, upload all of your images, or if you have music, or if you have headshots, or if you have video, anything that you want to add to your page, just go ahead and start uploading it. That's part of your second step so that you have your content ready to go. If you're creating your page and you don't have content, Wix Media has a plethora of videos and images and illustrations that you can choose from. So just for here as an example, I'm going to go into headshot. This isn't to say you're not going to use your face or your image, but if I wanted to add an image, I can pick one here. And I'm just going to choose this one so that I can edit this page. So notice that it's a nice rectangle. If I wanted to cut it and give it a cropped look, I can choose to just change my image through here and pick my picture. But if I wanted to just crop it and show you where it comes from, you can choose a shape. So you can choose any single one of these shapes, and you'll be able to adjust the image and apply that feature, okay? So again, you can either choose to click on the element that's already in here, which is what you'll find on many of your templates, or you can click change image and go into your uploads or choose media from Wix. So what I got to show you was how you can pull your own image and then crop it. And if I wanted to add a filter to this, I could as well. So maybe I want my picture to be a little different. Now that you see where your add button is, you can go through all of these different items here. Many of the examples that we saw had a nice gallery of different projects. So you can choose to include a gallery, and all you would have to do is edit each gallery item or the number of items, and you can give it a title, you can give it a description. So this is a nice way to showcase your work, especially for all of my marketing majors. If you have any content that you've created, I see a lot of communications majors, any advertisements that you've created, you can showcase it in a nice gallery. Okay, so as I mentioned before, each item that you click on is going to have a nice little floating menu. These floating menus allow you to edit them. So for example, if I want to edit this text and change it to my name, I can put Ellery R. If I want to change the size, notice this is very similar to other softwares, changing the size, changing the font. You can upload your own font. If you wanted to change the color, you could change it through here. If you wanted to change the theme color, it'll populate over here on your color palette. You can choose to change a singular color, or you can change all the colors completely. And this will go throughout your whole site that you're changing the different color scheme for your web page. Okay, so for me, I think I'm going to go with, I don't know, these funky green colors and this peach color in the background. And now that I've changed my whole theme, it's going to go throughout my whole page. And if I want to change these colors, the theme of that those colors are going to be found here. Okay, in your color picker when you go editing your images. So maybe now what I want to do is just remove some of these call to action buttons. Maybe that's not something that I want. If I make a mistake or if I did something that I regret, I can go to my undo button and bring it back, which is pretty much everyone's best friend. But what I want to keep showing you is just going back to your add button here on the left-hand corner and being able to choose a call to action button. This is the button that's going to take your visitor to wherever it is you want them to go. So for me today, I think what I'll do is add this button, okay? Change the text and have it say, contact me. Once I do that, I can look at my floating menu and go across to the link, the chain link image. And this is going to give you the ability to attach that button, that call to action button, to either a web page, right? So this template includes a resume page, a projects page, and a contact page. I want it to go to my contact page. You could also choose it to have a document or an email or a phone number. It's up to you. But I want to show you how I'm attaching this call to action button to a page. And what I'll also do is go here to my add button, just add my text. And what I want to include in here is just a nice little paragraph option. And in here is where you'll be able to just go on ahead and talk about yourself like we saw in the portfolio. What is my intention? What's my major? Am I looking for internships? I'm in the Miami area and I would love to go ahead and intern at XYZ kind of company. So now that you've added your description, I'm going to click on preview, which is here on the top right-hand corner. And now I can get a nice preview of what my page would look like. And I'm going to click on my call to action button that says contact me, and it takes me to the page that has my contact information and also a nice little form. Okay, so if you have questions about that, just let me know. I can walk you through it again. Now, if I want to navigate back to another page, I can either do that here on the top left-hand corner where it says switch page. There's a drop-down menu. Or I can just choose my second button, which is menus and pages, and it'll take me to my menu of pages that are created within the template. Now, for many of you, you'll want to create new pages, especially if you want to create categories of the work or the projects that you've made. So what I'm going to show you is how to add a new page. Notice that Wix likes to give you kind of different customized fields. So if you want to have an about me page, if you want, you have a few options here for resumes, how you want to list it out with a nice little timeline. It just depends on what you want to do. You have some categories here for different services. It doesn't have to be services. It could be your projects that are displayed. Maybe you're into photography and you just want to showcase a lot of your images. You can do that in here, okay? You can choose a variety, one of these customized options, or you can go on ahead and choose a blank page. So for me, what I'll do is I'm just going to include a nice blank page. I can give it a name. So maybe here, what I'm going to call it is strips. So I can showcase strips. And maybe I want to add this as a project. And I'm going to put it under projects. Oh, sorry. I'm just going to drag and drop it. And it'll automatically move it into one of these pages. Notice that my menu here on the top right-hand corner has changed. If I take this out, strips will be there, but if I add it as a sub-page, it'll automatically start removing those menu buttons. And now you're able to really create the buttons and features that you want for your visitors. So if you want your resume to go under your contact page, you can do that as well. Notice that it removes it. So just to kind of preview what that looks like, I'm going to click preview and I'm going to hover over my projects. And now I have a sub page that strips. So if you want to create categories of your different projects or features that you want, you can do that through here, through your pages menu. Can you change how it looks on mobile? Yes. So mobile view, on the top left-hand corner, you'll notice that you can view what you're looking at right now is a preview of a desktop. And when you click on the right-hand button, it is the preview view of what it'll look like on a mobile device. So in your preview, you can click through it and see what it looks like, see if that's what you like, see if that's what you want your page to look like. And if you want to edit it, when you click back on editor and you click on mobile, you can edit all of this. So Emma, to answer your question, if there's a video that maybe you want to move around, you can edit it just like your desktop. Remember that with the mobile device, it is a completely different sizing, right? From a desktop to a mobile view. So you want to make sure that everything looks good, everything is neat. You can click through it here on your pages menu, look at your projects page, and if everything looks just like you want it, then you don't really have to edit it. But if you wanted to, you could, okay? So that's how you're able to navigate from desktop to mobile view. My tip and what I recommend is once you're finished editing your whole site, before you publish, take a look at your mobile view, preview it. You can do that under preview mode. And when you do that, you'll be able to see where everything falls. And if you need to edit it, just go back into edit and click on mobile so you can make those adjustments. So someone had mentioned strips. I'm going to go ahead and add one here. And I want to just explain what it is really quick. It is a great way to create division in your web page. So for example, if I wanted to include this hello, maybe I want to change the background to something that I like. Maybe I want it to be a color that coordinates with the theme of my page. Maybe I want it to be an image. Maybe I want it to be, I don't know, something quirky here. Maybe I want it to be an image that showcases my personality. Maybe it's something that an image that I have. Maybe there's something that resonates with me with what I see here. You can easily just change the color. There's a call to action button in this. So maybe I wanted to change the color of that as well and give it a link so that my viewer can go to it. Or maybe what I want to do for my strip background is add a video, which is exactly what we saw that Joan did. He added a video. The video really adds a different level of kind of like professionalism and a different feel, a different look. Gosh, I wonder if this video is still here. No, I think it's high. So in here, maybe I wanted to add this video and just kind of remove this text. Okay, I have this little call to action button. I can change this color. Maybe I want it in green. And just to preview the video, notice that the strip is now at the very top and it's going to add some sort of division to my page. So maybe my next strip is going to include, I don't know, I want something, maybe I want to showcase a team. And then another section that I want is maybe a nice little contact page and how to navigate a contact page. So just to preview, I just added a little bit of movement, a video, my call to action button, I changed it. This isn't for design wise, this is just showing you how you can add division to your page. Maybe I have a team of different people or different projects because you can edit this. It doesn't have to be people. It can be whatever you want to showcase. And then a nice little third division that shows you, you know, how you can contact me, a phone number, or even a Facebook page. So how do you find a resume page layout? I don't see that as a category. Great question. So we can go in here. I'll make another page. And just to kind of answer your question, I want you to be able to see how within the pages, there's little options for that. Okay, wait, let me go to about. And you can choose these different little classic resume ones. So the one that students really like to choose is this one. You can preview it to see if you like it, or you can add it. And then here you can say resume. Okay, now you've made a resume page. Maybe you want to delete this one that was here before. You can delete it. Now you have your new resume page. And you can just start editing it. You can have it say anything you want here. And notice that this resume page has already a button telling the person to download the resume. You can do that as well. You can click on your link. You can add document and choose that resume. Remember, you want to have all of your content ready to go here so you don't have to come up with any hiccups. So I'm going to upload this dummy resume that I have. I can choose it. And now that it's live and I've added it and I've linked it, I can type in my resume, right, with any of the options, and I can click on download and then my document will pop up. Okay, so just an option that someone mentioned. I'm going to go really quick into my homepage. You're welcome, Anna. And I'm going to show you how to add a video because I know that's something that someone asked. So if you wanted to add music, maybe you have music that you want to sell, you're an artist or you work with people, you can add music with this audio player and you can upload it. You can add an audio player, but if you want to add a video, you can choose any single one of these video players, whether it's Vimeo or YouTube. You can upload it, move it around in your site, okay? And now you have a video showcasing your work that you want to have, very similar to the other templates that we saw. Rebecca Gladstone, she added like a nice little video feature and other little boxes to describe her work. Okay, so just to add here, Carrie's asking about the different information on the footer of the page. You can edit all of that. So this template has, you know, a specific name here. You can edit your header. You'll know that it's your header because there is a horizontal line that's separating it from the center of your page, and your footer is also separated by another horizontal line. And you can edit any of the items that are within the page. So if I go here to my home page, or if I go to my projects page, you're always going to have a header with your menu and the name of your page and a footer that'll have your information, but I deleted it. So now it's blank. Okay. My header before had my email, my contact, my socials. If you wanted to add your socials or a text with your email, you can add your text with your email. Maybe I want to include some social media to my page. I can add that to my header. Oh, sorry. Let me go ahead and delete that.
I see that it the header and the footer is the same on every page though. And I was trying to figure out if you could change information on like a footer on one of the pages and it not change across all of them.
So your footer is going to go with you throughout all your pages, but you can choose that option, right? So you can go on ahead and say, you know, this is going to be within in your settings. You can have it duplicate on all pages, or you can not do that. Just make sure that you either edit it with what you want to have there, or you won't have it repeating. So if you don't want it repeating, then you can do that, and you can individualize that through each page under settings. So yeah, you can do that. Okay, as well as, you know, adding the design that you have, like your template, it can be repeated to each page or not. You set those settings. So here you can add your social links. You can pick any one of these social media ones. You can search in here and add it. Once you add it, all you have to do is include your specific link, and it's officially going to showcase your links for your socials. Okay, I think I answered everyone's questions. Besides that, let's just say I'm going to save this page. I'm super happy with it. I already looked at my portfolio. Oh, sorry, let me go really quick back into strips. I wanted to also show you how you can add movement to some of the items. So here, let me pick this picture just so that it's not so static. So when we previewed it, the images were static, but now what I'm going to do is just add a little bit more movement. When you click on it, it'll say background scroll effect for your column background. Before, these images were still. So now what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of movement. And when I preview that, I think that's what someone wanted to see, was like the movement, right? So you have your video and then you have it now moving. This one has a reveal effect and these have a parallax effect, but it transitions, which is exactly what you saw in Ivy Chen's images. As she would scroll, she would have multiple strips included, and then the different images that she had in the background is what you would see as she would scroll. Okay, so I just wanted to add that last thing. What I'll do now is show you how, let's just say you finish your site, you're happy with it. On mobile, it looks amazing. You're going to save it. As you save it, your free URL is going to be displayed. So it's Ellery007, my email handle, .wixsite.com, and then you can label this whatever you want. So I can name this portfolio. And I don't have another existing URL with this, so it works out perfectly fine. I can officially use this link and share it out to anyone and everyone once I'm happy with it. And if I know that I'm happy with it, I'm publishing it officially. And now I can preview my site and I can share this with anyone. So the main difference between a paid account, which is what you would upgrade for, which is the code that we're providing you. You're getting a code that's going to upgrade you for a whole year. It will give you your own domain. So if I wanted this to be elleryr.com, I'll be able to have that free for a whole year, and I'll be able to remove this banner. So your free account has Wix site in your URL, and it also has this banner notifying others that you created it on Wix. But your coupon that you'll be having will give you access to the removal of this and having your own domain. That's the main difference. Okay. So let's just say now that I finished, I published it. I want to show you one last thing, which is your dashboard. Your dashboard is your backend view. So let's just say you logged out of the site and you log back in and you get this screen and you're like, oh my gosh, where's my site? You can go to this top left-hand corner, my site, and it'll display all the different sites that you have. So these are all my little dummy sites. You can create a new one, or you can get started on your SEO, which I talked about, your very own search engine optimization tool that's built into Wix, having others find you on Google or search engines. How do you do that? You can either click on one of these sections here to get started, right? Get found on Google, or you can click on marketing and SEO, and your wizard is going to pop up. And it's going to say, hey, get started on how to get found. It'll walk you through a few steps and you can add your very own tags. This should look familiar. When you Google something, you always have 3 specific tags, a URL, and a description. And that's what you're going to be creating for your own portfolio. So make sure you do that so that when you're being found and someone's searching you and it's going to be your portfolio, you have intention for your brand and what you want them to find. You can create that just by going through this little checklist, and automatically you're going to be found through the search engine. It's going to be crawling through all the search engines for these specific tags and blurbs that you're going to be creating. We have another question. Are you able to use most of those same features with free account? Also, what happens if you use premium features and it expires after a year? So the main difference is that your domain ends unless you want to continue the domain. It'll go back to your free URL. And if you go back to your free user, you'll have the banner once again. So that's the main difference, Noah. Okay, that's what you'll notice. Besides that, let me just show you really quick how that looks like. Okay, so here's your code. That is for all of you to use. You'll have access to it. I'm just going to type it really quick here in your chat. If you have questions about it, you can email Allison Doherty. She's your associate director over there at your career services. I also have her email that I'm adding to the chat just in case you have any questions about it. But this is your code for all of you to use. You have it until December 31st, 2023. If you don't see the code functioning, it should be active either today or tomorrow. But I'm just going to navigate really quick where you would go to do that. If you wanted to upgrade your site, you'll notice this call to action button throughout all over the site. And so what I'll do is just click on that and it'll take you to the plans. You're going to have access to unlimited and combo. And the main difference is really just storage. You'll be able to see all the different things that come included with it, but really storage is one of the main differences, okay? And your analytics. So let's just choose this unlimited one. It'll always choose a yearly option. You click continue, it'll ask you for a credit card. And then here under the code, you're gonna enter your promo code. And when you apply it, it should say 0. If it doesn't, what happens is that most students choose maybe the wrong plan. Maybe they go to business or enterprise. That's not you guys. You guys got professional site, which is under website plan, and it'll be unlimited and combo. That's the number one question I always get, like the code isn't working, and it's because they went into one of these. So just a note so that you know where to put the code and what to do. And you can go in the back end. I get this really good question from students. Well, I don't really want it to populate and charge me a year from now. You can either choose to have it in the calendar, or you can go to settings. And when it comes to, payments or invoices, you can have it so that it removes that automatic feature. Super important as a student. You don't want to be charged unless you want to keep it. That's totally up to you. Okay. That is pretty much everything on the back end. You have your code. Most importantly, your resources I wanted to show you is we have Wix Learn. It just came out this year because everyone asked questions. Because of that support page, Wix created a Wix Learn feature where you can be walked through the process. You're not alone. You're never alone on Wix. It always gives you tips. But you can start learning different tools of website building or whatever you want to add, any features. And it's going to come up with the canvas that we saw, and it'll have directions on the side. So it's walking you through it. So I definitely encourage you to play around with Wix Learn. Also, the Help Center. This is your best friend. Any question that you have, anything that anyone had asked in here, it'll populate in here. And if you want more inspiration, you have a plethora of them. There's a whole link about portfolios with best tips and best practices. If you wanted to create your own logo, that's included in there as well on the back end. I attached a survey here. So for all of you, if you could share a little bit of what you saw today, we would love to get your feedback, anything that'll help improve or help us learn why you use the portfolio, the e-portfolio or the Wix site, what it did for you. We'd love to hear success stories from students. Some students do this as a project. It's a requirement, Allison mentioned, for your school, which is a plus for me, because students who have this have used it to get into graduate school, medical school. They've used it to even use during an interview. There was this one student that was asked to, it was an insurance company, and they're like, you can either talk about insurance or show us something that you've done. And they were like, I'm applying for this job, but I don't know everything. So I'm going to use the project that I created. And they were floored. They were wowed. That's a success story that we love to hear. It was a nice way of having a project that they did in a class be used for the future in their career development. So we're super proud of that. So if you're able to fill that out, we'd appreciate it. Any other questions? I think we have 3 more minutes. Allison, wow. Anything else that you may need? And Robert, yes, so it is requesting a credit card automatically. So you can add one and you can go into that feature to remove the auto pay for the following year. Any other question? I think we have a few more minutes. That is the end of the presentation. If you have an existing Google domain, you can attach it. So when you go to the backend view on your dashboard, you can connect your domain under settings. Thank you all so much, Allison. I will close the recording now.
Yeah, I think there was one question about copyright.